Direct air capture and direct ocean capture, DAC and DOC. These are terms that are surfacing in the last 2 years more than before. Direct air capture or ocean capture is to capture carbon dioxide directly from the air or directly in the ocean, but it is not necessarily sequestered, okay? They call it sequestration or historical capture when the carbon and its equivalents will be stuck in that solution, in that method, in the land for a very long time. We're talking hundreds or thousands of years. We're hoping for thousands of years of sequestration. Okay, so there's a solution where big fans suck the air and the carbon dioxide stays stuck. And then they say they found a solution for 300 euros or dollars. They found a solution for 220 euros and dollars. But that's the capture. The sequestration means you need now to transport this gas to another facility somewhere else and put this gas into the ground, and that should add to the cost. So carbon capture is not enough. When you hear someone say carbon capture, sometimes it's a slang. It's a CO2e capture without sequestration. That's too complicated. They just say carbon capture. It doesn't mean that the solution is final. I'll take an example. You capture with a big fan. It costs a lot of money. You use a amine tower, some phosphate that makes sure that the carbon is sucked out of the air. Okay, so you have CO2 in your tank. It's not carbon that you have in a tank. It's a CO2 gas. That's the capture. Then you have to transport it to a place. Let's say those who fix it in the ground. Okay, so they pump this gas into water, a water stream, and pump it very deep into layers in the ground, 100 meters or more into the ground, where there's a lot of alkaline rocks. Let's say basalt is one of those alkaline rocks, okay? And the CO2 in the water will chemically get stuck in all of these alkaline minerals, and it will calcify, and it will stay there, and it will stay there for thousands of years, millions of years, if nothing comes to disturb that ground. So that is a historical sequestration, that's a sequestration or a historical capture. Too many solutions present to you one aspect, but don't consider the entire string, okay? Our goal is not to do business and sell something. Our goal is to clean up the environment and delay the cataclysms until we can reach a state of zero emission in our technologies, okay? So let's say a business captures carbon, okay? They found a way to capture carbon and transform it into a biofuel. Now, because you hear the words biofuel, say, wow, biocarburant, biofuel, it's so green. No, because biofuel means it's carbon that you're going to send somewhere else and they will burn it. So an industry that captures carbon to transform into a biofuel and sell it as a cheaper alternative to petrol, what they do is they capture carbon and they have all the glory for doing the capture, and they sell it to industries who burn it as fuel that put it back in the atmosphere, and they have to take care. They have the responsibility of the emissions. So that resulting company, instead of paying $60 or euro for a carbon credit, they'll pay 15 or 20 euro as a tax to the government. So they won't be compensating for the emissions. They'll just say that they pay their tax, so legally they'll be clean at zero. They will justify. But in the environment, all of this process changed nothing. It changed nothing when they do it like that. When you hear biofuel, the word bio doesn't mean healthy for the environment, okay? It means an alternative to petrol, which usually has some benefit. But it's still in the mentality of combustion. It's still a mentality of something will burn and CO2 or CO2e will go into the atmosphere, okay? So we have to be warned. We have to be careful with this. Most solutions are beneficial. There's progress. But there are solutions that take care of 100% of the entire chain. The entire loop is closed. And there are solutions that just won't work. They just to give you the impression that it's organic or progressive, but it's really not much. Okay, so we'll try to educate you. And in AtmoCare, we are not for profit. We are for investing. Like if we capture carbon in any way and we have a carbon credit, we will sell it, of course, because we want to let other businesses justify their carbon emissions or feel at zero emission. And that money doesn't come into our pockets. It goes to the foundation to finance other operations. So with the AtmoCare Foundation, the wheel is closed, and the more carbon we capture and properly sequester, the more carbon credits we dispose of to exponentially finance the rest of the operation. But to start, and for a long time, we need everyone's contribution to do it. And we will ensure you that the entire chain is closed. Every solution has a side effect. And if we only use one solution, the side effect, we'll have to manage it. If we only do superforest, which we have a lot of space to do superforest, so it's like 4 to 6 times, in the best scenarios, it's 6 times the carbon capture of a normal forest, a normal planting trees, okay? So we want to do that, but we'll eventually run out of space, okay? Or the more space our forests occupy, the more some corporations that like space, like to grow cattle or to build, okay, they don't like it. So there might be some friction, okay? So we do some superforests, but we try to respect the flow of economy in the world until we realize, oh, corporate people, we're trying to save your grandkids too, by the way. And I don't know if you realize that dead people don't buy your shit, okay? So let's get real here. We're doing this for humanity. If you do carbon capture, eventually we'll have saturated all the basalt fields and all the alkaline rock fields that we have found. If we only do the algae growth, then that algae has to be put somewhere. If we do pyrolysis, then there might be some nitrous oxide emanated in the process, because that's one of the thing about pyrolysis. And you've heard, maybe you've not heard of biochar. There are consequences to all of these. So if we have a biodiversity of solutions, we have little side effects to manage everywhere that will be harmoniously one into the other. It's going to bring back the ecosystem in balance. It's going to be much easier. If we cover the entire surface with machines, basically, if we only go through the gas pumps to suck the air and then put that carbon dioxide into the rock, okay? If we only do this, you'll have the Coruscant syndrome. The Coruscant syndrome, for those who know Star Wars, it's a planet entirely covered in machine. There's no more forest. Everything is mechanical. And we absolutely want to avoid that, losing more space to machines and machines and machines, because we have industries. We remove forests to build industries that emit CO2, and then we have removed forests to build machines that suck the CO2 that we've put. In the end, we're just growing the amount of space occupied by machinery and industrial process, and less space for biodiversity and forests. So yeah, let's have a biodiversity of solutions.